Today on the 1012 Picks Pod, I am joined by Savanah Tujague to make picks for every single Big 12 game, including the massive top 10 showdown between BYU and Texas Tech, intriguing space game matchup between Houston and UCF, and thoughts on the first college football playoff rankings and why the Big 12 is sitting real pretty with Utah at 13.
The Lincoln Wishlist sales event is happening now. Here's what's on everyone's wish list. Enjoying holiday jingles with brilliant 3D audio that surrounds you? Check. Watching snow flurries through the panoramic Vista roof? Check. Packing up presents with the spacious Lincoln Splitgate? Check. Everything you want. All standard on the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV. Visit your local Lincoln retailer or learn more at Lincoln.com for exceptional offers on 2025 Lincoln vehicles today.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Welcome to the 1012 Picks Pod, where every week myself, Phillip and Chase A. Kitty from BetMGM and a guest make picks for every Big 12 game on the schedule. It is week 11. It's a light week, but we have a great show for you today. The 1012 podcast is, of course, the flagship show of the 1012 Network. Find every show on the network at 1012network.com. That's TEN, the number 12, the word network.com. We are also partners with Sports Social, Europe's biggest sports podcast network. Wherever you are listening, please do us a favor. Leave us 5 stars and review. It really does help the show out. I get it. I understand. Every show asks it. I don't like doing it, but you know, if someone new leaves a review every time I say it, we'll be set. We'll be absolutely set. Absolutely set. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, please do us a favor. Leave, like the video, subscribe, leave us a comment. Chase is not here this week, actually. It's in the intro. I have to say his name. But Chase couldn't make it this week. He's driving back from a meeting at corporate. He sent me a text at about 4 o'clock. I'm going to read it for you. Quote, "No way I will make pod time now. Only leaving Jersey City now. I got set back 30 minutes talking to Turtle from Entourage." So Chase is rubbing elbows with celebs, and so he's not going to make it tonight. Don't worry. He sent me his picks so I can read them on the show, so it's not like we're not going to miss what his picks were. And I think he just had a really bad week this last week, and so he chose conveniently to be missing this one. Oh, I guess I'll just have to run late. No problem. But I'm not alone. Don't worry. As I said, guest. We typically have a guest, and we do today. Joining us this week, to Savanah Tujague. Savanah, welcome to the 1012.
Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Thrilled to have you. Very excited to have you with us tonight. Before we dive into picks or last week's results, I'm glad I have you here because we got to talk. Listen, I have preached on this show ad nauseum. The playoff gets too much conversation. We love college football as a sport as a whole. I love bowl season. We are here for the tradition. We are here for the great things like BYU fans rising up to help out the Texas Tech football team barber's wife who got hit by a drunk driver. Absolutely love this conference, love the people in it, love the fans, love the rivalries, love the hatred, love that at the end of the day, we're all great people. But we do have to talk about the playoff a little bit. I'm sorry, because the first playoff rankings came out, and for what feels like the first time forever, they've actually done the Big 12 a favor. And I cannot believe I'm saying this. On the one hand, it is disappointing that none of Cincinnati, Arizona State, or Houston made the ranking. Not shocking on Houston. Thought Arizona State might, feel like Cincinnati probably should, but that's fine. We'll set those aside because they did set the Big 12 up really, really well. BYU at 7, Texas Tech at 8. We'll ignore the Mac Rhodes comment about we tried to do ESPN a favor by putting the teams right next to each other for their matchup this weekend. I understand what he meant with that comment, but that's just like foot, mouth, leave it there. But the bigger news to me, not that Texas Tech is 8 and BYU is 7 and have a big matchup this weekend, it's that Utah's at 13. 2-loss Utah sitting at 13 with the schedule they have in front of them. And I know this is the Big 12 conference. Never assume a win, ever. Chaos is ready to strike at any moment. But the fact that Utah is sitting at 13 with 2 losses, with the schedule they have in front of them remaining, Baylor, Kansas State, and Kansas. If Utah wins out, folks, the Big 12 has not just a shot at getting 2 teams into the playoff, but 3. Because if Utah runs the table and finishes at 10-2, they're not going to the conference championship game. They're not. So they're not going to have to suffer a third loss. So as long as they finish 10-2, where they're positioned at 13, you have to assume teams in front of them are going to lose, like Texas or Oklahoma, not Nebraska, not Notre Dame, not with that schedule. But teams are going to lose in front of them. They could very well be in a spot where they are going to get an auto bid, along with, if things work out with BYU and Texas Tech, the Big 12 could actually somehow, some way, get 3 teams into the playoff. I know that SEC and Big Ten, we can conspiracy theory all we want about whether or not they'll actually allow that to happen, but there's a real scenario that this happens. Savanah, what are your thoughts on kind of the Big 12 situation after the first playoff rankings come out?
Yeah, I think that they're set up well, to be honest. And I think people probably think Utah is placed high, but their 2 losses are to the teams that are ahead of them. And that just seems like an about right placing. Um, I think that they strategically did something. Like you said, they said the whole 7 and 8 so they don't play each other, which is things that you should just not say. But I also think that they strategically did something at this point to make sure that the first round included a matchup between the Catholics and the Mormons because it has Notre Dame traveling to BYU. And I just feel like at this point that was intentional.
I would take it. I think we would all enjoy a game of Notre Dame. And listen, the thing that I feel like they have shown us this year, because to me, there's a lot of similarities between Utah and Notre Dame. You have, arguably, you have essentially blown out the teams you should and have 2 quality losses on your resume, right? Notre Dame's came at the beginning of the season to get to Miami and A&M in close losses. Utah had very close loss at BYU. And I know the final score makes it look like a bigger beating by Texas Tech, but that game was like a 1-score game until Texas Tech ran away with it halfway through the 4th quarter. And so the metrics, that's what they like right now. The metrics, that's the thing they seem to be leaning in on. Says Notre Dame is really good. Forget the fact that they have 2 losses, which I'm kind of okay with. Utah is really good, despite the fact that they have 2 losses. They don't have a bunch of wins that are impressive. They've beaten Arizona State and they've beaten Cincinnati, who were both ranked at one time. They're not ranked anymore, so those don't count. I would expect one or both of those at some point to probably sneak into the top 25. I feel like there's going to be a 4th Big 12 team that sneaks their way up in and helps all 3 of Texas Tech, BYU, and Utah. But at this point, like, Utah is sitting pretty. Don't blow a game. Like, win out. Win your last 3 games against 3 teams you should beat. And Utah is probably in the playoff because, look, Texas is ahead of them with 2 losses. Their schedule is daunting. Oklahoma is in front of them with 2 losses. Their schedule is daunting. Again, I'm not picking Notre Dame to lose a game. They are good and they don't have anybody else on their schedule. But there's other teams in front of them who have opportunities to lose.
I see Notre Dame losing.
Where?
I see Notre Dame losing a game to and
Pitt?
I also see Georgia losing it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I also see Georgia losing a game. And I think Memphis loses to Tulane this week as well. So I think that shakes up the group of 5 bid. And the reason I bring this up, because I know this is about the Big 12, is that plays well for the Big 12 if those things happen.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think the Big 12 is they have the way that the things that they seem to prioritize this year have benefited the Big 12, which is just not what we're used to in years past. Because teams are going to take more losses, and Utah at 13 has opportunities with the teams in front of them to jump some of them, and I'm very excited about this. The idea of a 3-team Big 12 teams in the playoff is just like just hook it right up to my veins and just start pumping it in like it'll keep me alive. So I know Utah fans are excited about it. I would love for Utah, BYU, and Texas Tech to all be in the playoff. Granted, they'll all end up with like terrible seeds, but at least they'll have 3 teams in. Okay, at least we'd have 3 teams. Okay. Savannah, before we move on, any closing thoughts from you on this?
No, I kind of shared them. I think Notre Dame will find their way to lose another. I know you think they're appropriately ranked. I think that they're poorly ranked. They have common opponents that are ranked lower than them that they lost to, and their common opponents won. So like I said, I think that bodes well for the Big 12. I too would love to see three teams from the Big 12 get in. Um, and not because I'm an ACC homer, but that's because I think that Utah, BYU, and Texas Tech are very deserving of where they're at now and have the opportunity, like you said, Utah to make their way in there as well.
Yeah, I think the ACC's non-conference record against P4 opponents, which I think was like 5-12, is really not doing them any favors at this point. And the teams that had the marquee wins,
Yeah,
like Florida State,
absolutely.
have fallen off completely. And so, yeah, I agree on Notre Dame that I don't think they should be number 10. They have a win over USC, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I like their win over USF, but like they have a win over. Or no, that was Miami who did that. Notre Dame has one win over USC, but like the similarity in their resume versus Utah's in my mind is why I have to be like, if I think Notre Dame is way overrated, then I have to say Utah's way overrated. And do I think Notre Dame's overrated? Yeah, a little bit. Is Utah probably too high?
I
Yeah, but I'm gonna be okay with the fact that Big 12 is actually getting something going their way as opposed to not this year.
No, as you absolutely should.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Completely
obviously,
agree.
thank you, thank you. I love that's you know what that's the best thing you could say to me is completely agree. It's fantastic, love it. Okay, so let's dive in on what happened last week here on the pod. It was not a good week for me and Chase. Shout out to Tyler Shoemaker, T Shoe Index, the man behind it. He won the week at 5-3. The guests have been on a roll, Savannah. Just so you're aware, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Oh
straight weeks
no.
at 500 or above after a very bad start. So guests are now 42-44 on the season. So it's just, I don't know. Can you keep the trend going? Big opportunity here to continue to push the guests towards 500 or better.
Okay, well, now there's pressure, but I am going to show up and show out for the guests. That's me manifesting it.
Perfect. Perfect. All right,
Oh.
Chase and I both went 2-6. Chase hit on Arizona State plus 7.5 and Oklahoma State plus 24.5. The misses were UCF plus 3.5, Houston minus 13, under 53.5 in Kansas State, Texas Tech, Colorado plus 4.5, Cincinnati plus 10.5, and Tennessee minus 3. 2-6 on the week brings Chase to 43, 46, and 1. I will note the Houston was a consensus curse for Houston. We are 4-7 when all three picking agree. The consensus curve still going strong here on the 1012 picks
Oh.
pod, as it always does. Yeah, it's never good when everyone agrees. It's not a good sign for that team there immediately on upset watch. Um, I also went 2-6, hit on Oklahoma State plus 24.5 and Memphis minus 13.5. The misses were the over 59.5 in Baylor UCF, Houston minus 13. Iowa State minus 3.5 first half. Oh, good grief. Under 53.5 in Kansas State, Texas Tech. Colorado plus 4.5 and Cincinnati plus 10.5. 2-6 on the week. I was getting so close to being back to 500, all the way back down to 41-49 now. I got time. I've got a few weeks left to try and rebound, and I have every intention to do so. So, with all of that said, Savannah, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go.
All right. Just so everyone's aware, Savannah has a BYU foam finger behind her. So if you want to know where her Big 12 allegiance lies.
I do. It's from Yes, that is my alma mater, and I went to the Holy War. So,
Oh, that was a good day for you.
yes, great game. Yeah, it was.
Uh,
Go Cougs, baby.
all right. We do this the same way every week. We go in chronological order. This week, week 11, a light week. 6 teams are idle. Arizona State, Baylor, Cincinnati, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and Utah all sitting at home this weekend. So just 5 Big 12 games to pick, 1 non-Big 12 game as well. I will kick things off today. We start with a weeknight game, Friday night, 7 p.m. God's time, FS1. It is the space game between UCF and Houston. This should be this should just be a space game every year. I understand UCF wants to keep the space game that they can rotate around because it's a home game, but like you need some sort of space themed trophy. Just get the old MTV music awards. Was the music of the movie awards that was the spaceman with the flag? I forget.
Yes.
Forgive me. It's been a minute since I've watched MTV. But that's just get one of those to be the trophy when Houston and UCF play each other. This one, like I said, Friday night, it's the space game. This is a big one, primarily because it's the space game, and UCF loves this game. Right now, Houston, about a 1.5 point favorite, varies across the boards. And of course, the total in this one currently set at 47.5. That is pretty much a consensus. Like I said, I'll start things off, and then we'll go Chase, and then Savanah can go. Listen, the UCF football space game was created in 2017. For all of you who don't know, the Knights wear their very unique Space U uniforms. They're always awesome, sometimes to varying degrees. This is bigger than homecoming for UCF, for those who don't know. And I think most Big 12 fans at this point are familiar with the space game. It's a big deal to UCF. It's a big deal. Since this game started, UCF is 8-0 in it, outscoring its opponents 415 to 160. Last season, the Knights blew out Arizona 56-13 in this game. They don't lose the space game. Here's another fun fact for you. UCF is 8-2 straight up in non-Saturday games in prime time the last 10 times they've played on a Thursday, Friday, or even a Wednesday night at prime time. So we got a lot of things going our way as far as UCF goes. The numbers are interesting because you look across the board at all of our usual go-tos, and it's mostly on UCF. SP Plus has UCF minus 0.6. FEI has UCF minus 3.5. Beta has UCF minus 1.9. Pairs got UCF minus 2.1. Tishu had this at a pick'em, a flat 0-0. Parker has Houston minus 3.5. Kelly Ford UCF with a 57% chance to win. I am going to talk that's all the stuff aside that says, here's all the things that tell me I should take UCF in this game. I want you to understand all of that because I understand that Houston is the better team. I understand that I am not going to overreact to Houston's performance against West Virginia last week. I am not going to try and sit here and be like, you know what, Houston's ruined. UCF scored 3 points against Baylor last week. Like, it's not like UCF did something that should suddenly invigorate all of us into believing that they've got everything figured out. But there's just trends that go, this is the one. And I get it. Listen, it's hard when you have a new coach, even if they're a new coach who's been there before, to follow the trends that have been there for a while. But the trends is the trends, and I'm going to ride with them. So I am going to take UCF at the best number I can get, which is currently 1.5, which is because listen, it would be the first time UCF has lost this. I get that it's a small sample size, but it's a small sample size in which they dominate this game every single time because that bounce house will be living up to its namesake on Friday night. Okay, so Chase is going with Houston -1 in this one. His notes for me, UCF's head-to-head does nothing for me here, and I'm not changing my entire rating of Houston because they had a weird loss to the ears that was karmically owed after the Holgorsen move. I wondered if he would bring that up. Of course he did. So he's riding with Houston -1 to win this game. I mean, basically, and so we've got ourselves a little battle bet here. So of course, if you have not, I know the season's coming to a close. No reason not to download the Battle Bets app and start making some picks, real picks, fake money, lots of fun. And so this will be the Battle Bets bet of the week for me and Chase. Okay, Savanah, you are up. What would you like here?
I am so glad that Chase bet on Houston because I didn't want UCF to be a part of the curse. I will be at that game. I actually live in Florida. UCF is my adopted hometown team. And so I will be riding the -1.5 line for UCF as well. Like you said, this game is bigger for UCF than homecoming. It means so much. It's very fun to go to. And like I said, you gotta adopt the hometown team. So I'll be riding or dying with the UCF minus 1.5 bet.
We got a BYU grad who attended Holy War who's adopted UCF for such a man, Savannah, like you got a lot of Big 12 there in your heart, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, most of my friends here in Central Florida went to UCF. I always find a way to support my hometown team because I hope that, like, people support the hometown team wherever they are. And so it's been fun. Obviously, if it came down to BYU and UCF playing, which they do and they have the last 2 years, I'll always root for my alma mater.
Of course.
But
Of course.
yes, when it's against some team that I don't care about, of course I'm gonna ride or die with them.
That's awesome. Oh, I love it. I love having adopted teams. I think it's a fun thing to do
Yeah,
because you need to have like, listen, I'm a Big 12 fan, I'm an Oklahoma State fan, but I have like G5 teams that I root for. You know, I have other teams that
of course.
I'm excited about. So I love that you adopt local teams. If I had something other than a D2 team in my town, I would adopt them as well. And no, when your D2 team won the national championship 2 years ago, it's not like it's a bad team to attach yourself to. Okay. All right, so let's move on down because I hear my youngest screaming and crying. So I'm gonna need to be able to step away. We're gonna let Savannah talk here for a second. We kick things off on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. God's time. Our TNT game of the week, of course, TNT is the best Big 12 coverage out there. If you have not watched a TNT broadcast yet, you have to do it. I don't care what the matchup is. Every week, a new Big 12 fan base or just Big 12 fans watch and go, oh, this is incredible. They actually talk about Big 12 football. It's not just an opportunity to talk about the SEC or da 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 da. In fact, the fact that they have taken shots at the other networks 2 weeks in a row, chef's kiss. Beautiful. Love it. Just more of it. More and more and more. It's just nice to understand what it feels like to be an SEC fan watching ESPN when you are now a Big 12 fan watching TNT. So, like I said, West Virginia, Colorado. I mean, I get the idea of like, I mean, whoop-de-doo. How do you get excited for a game between two teams that probably aren't going to go bowling? Well, here's how. Because I have to do this. I'm probably going to use this game for my Survivor league that I am in, and that should give away maybe what I'm going to pick. Like I said, 11 a.m. TNT on Saturday. West Virginia currently about a 6. Well, I've got anywhere from 5.5 to 6.5 point favorite at home against Colorado. Total in this one's anywhere from 54.5 to 55.5. We'll start with Chase on this one. He's got WVU, his Mountaineers minus 6.5. Quote, would absolutely love to go against West Virginia here, but if Colorado is DOA, this number actually feels light. Huge potential gap in motivation for this game, and the vibes in the locker rooms could not be more different right now. So he's taken West Virginia. He's got it at minus 6.5. They're 5.5. So I'm going to give him the best number because that's, of course, we are. We're all friends here. There's no reason to hold his pick earlier today against him. Savannah, what would you like here?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. Their common opponents, Colorado, played much closer than West Virginia did. But I do kind of agree with the fact the DOA mentioned it feels like Colorado has been very dead. I know that they had a huge loss to Utah, but they played BYU very close. And so the return of Rich Rod, I don't know, versus Coach Prime, that's an interesting matchup. I always take into account also the time change and the altitude situation. And so with that being said, I feel like Colorado is set up to beat the spread on this one. If you'll notice throughout my picks throughout this Big 12 matchups of week 11, I usually bet for or against the spread and I ride or die with it. And sometimes I die and sometimes I ride. But I think what I'm actually going to end up doing on this one is taking the over for points. It seems like West Virginia has put up points. I mean, no, I mean, kind of against BYU, they put up some points. Against Houston, they put up some points. So I feel like with the momentum they have coming out of the Houston win, it does set up West Virginia for a win here and scoring a lot of points. And same thing for Colorado. I feel like they've been scoring points. So give me the over. I have the spread right now. Just I'm looking at ESPN at 54.5. So give me the over.
All right. The over 54.5 in this one. I mean, the vibes aren't good for Colorado. Like, this is a team
No.
that for weeks, Chase and I have said, like, better than everyone thought they would be coming into the season. And they were. Like, they gave Georgia Tech a game.
Yeah.
They fought hard, they played well, and then the last 2 weeks hit, and they beat Iowa State, and then they get crushed by Utah on the road, and then they host Arizona, and I mean, it looked like they just gave up. Just waved the white flag.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and it's a
Yeah.
team full of transfers. Now you're going on the road to West Virginia. Like, yeah, you could still be fighting for bowl eligibility. You're not technically eliminated, but do they care? Does that matter at this point? And according to USA Today, Pat Shermer was stripped of his play calling duties after the Utah game and demoted to quarterback coach and tight end coach. Brett Bartolone was calling plays against Arizona. And so now you've made a midseason OC switch, which is the second time in 3 years that Deion's done this during his head coaching tenure at Colorado. Deion's been sick.
Yeah.
Like, Chase made his thoughts clear before, like, he thinks maybe this is just it. Maybe he's just going to retire and be done. I don't like the vibes for Colorado at all. Like, not even remotely. And West
No.
Virginia, on the other hand, like, it's not that they're good, but at home, coming off of a massive win over Houston, an opportunity to get another win against a Colorado team that you can beat. Like the Houston
Yeah.
game, like, don't overreact to it. They forced 4 turnovers in that game. Like, take away the turnover points, and like it's a lot closer than you think. And I think Houston probably wins that. But they're switching quarterbacks again. I think Colorado is this week, or they did last. I don't. The
Yes.
point of this is,
Yeah.
I have zero reason to believe in Colorado. And not to just sit here and ride with Chase, but like at 5.5, yeah, give me the ears to pull this off, get themselves another win, stave off bowl elimination for one more week, and have something to feel good about. I mean, that's what they need. You've had a season that was derailed by a ton of injuries and a roster that didn't really fit your head coach's scheme anyway. You've got a huge win over Pitt, your rival. You've got a huge road win at Houston when they were finally ranked. You could get a win over Colorado here and feel like you might be moving in the right direction with this program. You're not going bowling, not with the 2 games left on the schedule. But hey, knocking off Deion ain't going to hurt. So WVU -5.5 for me. All right, we move.
Love it. I
Thank
totally
you.
agree.
Thank you. We got the big game coming up right after this break.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
All right. It is the biggest game of the weekend in the Big 12. It's arguably the biggest game of the weekend, period. It's 2 top 10 teams in the new college football playoff rankings, the first ones that dropped. It's a massive game. What are we calling this? It's the Mormons versus the drunks. Is that no? That doesn't work with Texas Tech. It's got to be like the tumbleweeds versus the Mormons. I don't know. Tortillas versus no,
Or
because you
like
can't throw tortillas anymore.
tortillas.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's the tortillas versus the Mormons. That works.
Yeah, I think that just works.
Yeah, it fits. It fits. Oh man, it's a huge one. 11 a.m. ABC on Saturday. Game day is going to be in Lubbock. Second straight week, we got a big game day at a Big 12 game. This again, it's a massive game. I can't say anything else. You all understand how big this game is for the Big 12, and it's both teams I think we're going to get to this being round one between these two teams, but we will certainly see. All right. Texas Tech currently a 10.5 point home favorite against BYU. Total in this one is a pretty much 52.5 consensus across the board. Savanah, you get to go first here. What would you like?
All right. This year, BYU's record against the spread is 6-2. This year, BYU's record against the spread at away games is 3-1. They were 2.5 point dogs to Iowa State on October 25th. Went into their house. It was a close game for the first half, don't get me wrong. And then scored I want to say 23 unanswered points at the end of the third and the fourth. They were also 2.5 point underdogs at home for the Holy War. Do not disrespect BYU like that. They are getting disrespected week in and week out. Minus 10.5. That's crazy for being ranked above that team. I understand it's in Texas Tech, it's in Lubbock. I'm sure it'll be popping. It's a huge game, like you said. I think it's arguably the most important, biggest game of the weekend. This is gonna sound crazy to some, but give me BYU plus 10.5. Easy. Easy. I think they win the game, but definitely give
Ooh,
me them covering the spread.
that's bold. Listen, like at a certain point, BYU is just that team that cannot be killed no matter what they face or what they do. And it's not always impressive, but a win's a win. And the fact that they keep winning in and of itself is very impressive. Oh man, this game. All right. Listen, everybody's got Texas Tech. They are absolutely favored in this one metrically. Anywhere from the lowest is Parker at Texas Tech minus 5.7. The biggest is Tishu with Texas Tech minus 10.5. He's the only one who has them actually covering a 10-point line. Kelly Ford gives Texas Tech a 74% chance to win. Like I props to you being a diehard BYU fan, and I understand it. BYU hasn't played a defense like Texas Tech this year. Texas Tech's got the number one rushing defense nationally, and that's versus a BYU team that loves to run and needs to run the ball. That's going to matter. A couple other stats to throw out there. Like we talk all the time about BYU after dark, and BYU before dark hasn't mattered all that much as of late either. But they don't play games that kick off at 11 a.m. Central Time very often. That's a very, very rare thing for them. That's an early game for BYU. They're used to playing late. You can play some afternoon games. They're used to playing at night. They are not used to playing an 11 a.m. Central Time game. That, I think, is going to matter. Here's a fun stat. Top 10 matchups since 2021. Home favorites are 13-8-2 against the spread. They are 8-4 against the spread when the line is a touchdown or more. Like, I am... I have been disrespectful to BYU early. And I know every week we're just like, this has got to be the week. This has got to be the week. And it may never be the week. They may just not ever lose a football game again. But I don't know here, because I think BYU is going to struggle to run the ball, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on Bear Brockmeyer. I don't think Bear Brockmeyer has had to deal with the level of pressure he's going to here. He has gotten better and better and better and better every single week he has been at BYU. Their slow starts make a lot of sense when the fact that he didn't come in until spring. But they have been better. This team has gotten better as the season has progressed. Absolutely. They are one of the three best teams in this conference. Texas Tech is just the better team. Period. End of story. I think this defense is gonna be able to do some work. I think that BYU's defense is legit as well. I think Texas Tech wins this game. I'm actually going to take the under 52.5 in this one. I think this is a lower scoring affair. I don't know if BYU even gets to 20 points in this one. The team total is like 20.5. I'm very tempted to take the under 20.5 team total. But I think the just general total overall under 52.5 most of them, listen, TCU's got 52, FEI's got 44.9, Beta's got 45.96, Pear's got 52. I think this number's like right on the mark, but I think it might just end up being a little bit high, under 52.5 for me. I think Texas Tech wins this game. I think they probably cover with the 10.5, but I'm going to go with the under because I feel more confident with the total. Chase's number on this one, he's got Texas Tech -10. Let's make sure we still have a -10 on the board. We do. We have -10s available, so we'll give that to him. His notes on this one are, quote, it's telling that this has blasted through a key number like 10 and is now 10.5 in some places. BYU has shot the moon in high leverage, and sharps are betting this game will provide the correction. I'm wary that this market could get out of hand, and the value will ultimately end up with BYU. But for now, I'm inclined just ride the movement with Tech. No bet in real life. Just enjoy the game. Wholeheartedly agree on that one. This one feels like a total stay away if we were actually going to put money down. Okay. That wraps up the morning slate.
Yeah.
There's no night games for Big 12 this week for some strange reason. Folks, there's no night games. This is the time that if your significant other doesn't watch college football, take them on a night out. Take them on a date. Take them to dinner. You can go. It's okay. There's no Big 12 games in the evening. Yeah, but I got to stay and watch. No, you don't. No, you don't. This is the week to be like, honey, bud, whatever, sweetheart, smookums, where you want to go eat. What you want? You can go see a movie? What's that? Is there a rom-com you'd like to see? Let's do that. You want to go mini golf? Great. You want to go climb a skyscraper? Awesome. Make some plans for that night. Let's get some reservations. Let's get them underway. We do have 2 afternoon games, though. 2 interesting afternoon games, and we're going to pick both of those. So first up, 2:30 p.m. God's time, ESPN2. This one just feels weird with how both of these teams have kind of been as of late, and so it's just got some weird vibes for me. This is Arizona playing host to Kansas. Arizona currently 4.5-point favorite at home. Total in this one, currently sitting at, it reloaded, so I'm having to scroll back down to it, 56.5. There's a couple 56s if that is in play for anyone. I have to go first here. I don't really have a lot of notes because this game is weird to me. I don't have a good read on it. And yet I look at it and there's 2 things that pop to mind. One is I don't trust Kansas on the road. 2 is I don't want to have a lot of faith in Arizona, but I do think that they're good enough to beat Kansas at home, especially a Kansas team that I don't trust. We'll run through the numbers real quick. Everybody's got Arizona to varying degrees. FEI's got the smallest number, Arizona -1.3. Biggest is 8.2. That's SP+. No, I'm sorry. Parker has Arizona -12.7. Next closest is 8.2. Kelly Ford gives Arizona a 63% chance to win. What is interesting to me is every single total projection projects over 56.5 here. And when
That is very
everyone,
interesting to me.
right? We got so the total in this one right now, there's 56.5. There are some 56s. That's nice for me. SP Plus is 58. T-Shoe is 57. FEI is 57.4. Beta is 72.61. That one feels a little out there. Parker's got 56.7. Pear's got 58.4. When everybody agrees on something as an over-under or on a line, I'm going to ride with all these people that we go with on a regular basis. I'm going to take the over 56 in this game. I think Arizona is going to win this. I think they should cover this number. That's probably actually the safer bet and the bet I should roll with. But when all the people that we like to talk about all project something to happen, I'm going to roll with all of them because that does not happen very often, especially on totals where they're all like, no, it's going over this total. This total is wrong. I will ride with the over in this one. Chase has... I swear I did not read these before right now. Kansas and Arizona, I'll take over 56. Both teams are 4-1 to the over in their last 5 games against totals on the same general zone. This feels like 2 teams the market doesn't quite know what to do with, and so they just keep hanging the same mushy numbers. So I guess Chase and I are both riding with over 56 in this one. So Savanah, the board is yours from there. What would you like?
Oh, no. That's also what I was gonna do. So in an effort to not wish the that, I am gonna do basically, Phillip, what you said, your safe bet, which is Arizona -4.5, -4, whatever it is. I agree. I do think that they should win this game. I just don't understand Kansas as a team, to be honest. They started off the season pretty strong. I know they lost the border war to Mizzou, but they were hanging in there and like they really weren't supposed to. So I thought that that was interesting. And then they just played. Then something happened when after they lost to Texas Tech because Kansas State is suffering from the "we lost in Ireland" curse, which means you're just a really bad team that year. I something I made up, but it's just been true the last 2 years. And of course, they beat Oklahoma State, but they beat Oklahoma State, but, like, that's just like beating a dead horse, you know?
Yes.
There is personal reasons that I want Arizona State to win. I have a lot of family and friends that played baseball there and people that I know that are currently football players there and on the staff. I hope they win. This personal, like you said, I hope they win. I will be rooting for them. And I think they cover. So that is my pick for Arizona.
Yeah, I like that. I think
When
that's
you're a
probably go ahead.
when you're a college football coach's kid, you have ties to a lot of places, and so it's easy to root for other people that you know. You know?
Yeah. No, of course. Especially if they're good people. If they're bad people, whatever. But no, I think it's a
Oh,
good pick on your behalf on that one. All right, last Big 12 game on the docket for this one. TCU, Iowa State, 2:30 p.m. on Fox. TCU, the home favorite. It's about a 6.5 point line. There's a 5.5 and a 7. Those are weird. Sometimes weird lines happen at weird books. Total in this one's about 57 and a half across the board. Chase gets this one first. He's got TCU team total over 31 and a half. In 4 home games this year, TCU has scored 35 twice and 42 twice. Against Iowa State secondary, shouldn't Hoover be able to hold his averages? I think that's a pretty good call on that one. So he's got TCU team total. What did I say that was? I don't have that number, so I'm gonna roll with what his pick was on that one and say over 31 and a half. So Savannah, you are up next. What would you like?
I don't have that number up either, but I like it. I like Chase's thought process here. If that's the case, I think I'm gonna go with the over in I have the line that I have oh, of course, it just refreshed. The line that I have for this game, just of course it does. The line I
Yeah,
have pulled up right here is 57.5. Um, give me the over because I don't think Iowa State's a bad team, and I think they'll put up points.
I've got who is this? BetMGM's got a 56 and a half still. So
Is that
congrats.
lower than I would pick?
You said 57 and a half,
Yes,
didn't
thank
you?
you. I'll
Yeah.
take that.
So listen, we always try and get
Yeah,
the
I
best number
did.
here.
So give me that what the perfect.
Okay. Uh,
I'll take
I'm
it.
trying. Okay. So I'm trying to look at some things here. Listen, we talk about this. It continues to be a trend. Iowa State's offense completely dies in the second half of games. I wish I could actually live bet this at
Yeah.
halftime and just see what it is. They've scored 13 total second half points in the last 3 games combined, 3 points the last 2 weeks each against Arizona State and BYU. Like something happens at halftime and this team cannot score. Now look, TCU's defense, not awesome, but Iowa State at this point just looks cooked. Rocco does not look like himself. We know they've lost their 2 starting corners. The defense is not what it normally is. Their red zone defense is atrocious. It's one of the worst in the country. Like I'm not picking Iowa State in this game at all. And the fact that I get TCU for less than a touchdown at 6.5, I'm just gonna take TCU. Like it's not that I love TCU, it's that I'm that out on Iowa State at this point. I keep trying to find some clever number, like team total number and all, because Iowa State I don't think is going to score very many points. They just don't. And I would love a second half number, but they don't get second half numbers before a game. You get first half, and Iowa State usually does all their total scoring in the first half. I really want to see let me see. I'm trying to find if I can find what is the first half. Man, I want a first half like total. Just Trying to see if I could find that. I cannot so far. First half, Iowa State, TCU. First half total points. Okay. Over 28. First half total points over 28. Oh, that's when Iowa State does all their scoring. And so
That's a good
I'm
I feel like slam the over. Slam the over.
I'm taking the first half over 28. I'm
Yes.
doing it. As I don't
I love
think
it.
that's gonna be hard for TCU. That's when Iowa State scores all their points. They'll score some. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the first half over 28. That feels like I messed up last week in how I handled it. I tried to focus on the wrong thing by taking the spread in the first half. I'm taking the total. First half over 28 in TCU Iowa State. Love getting some weird numbers. Just love it so much. Okay. That wraps up our Big 12 picks for this week. We wrap the show up the same way every week. Everybody gets to pick one non-Big 12 game of their choosing. The board is Savanah. You are up first, so the board is absolutely yours. You got whatever you want. What would you like for this pick?
Okay. This is gonna be a hot take. I don't know if people are ready, truthfully. Um, I believe in this thing called the fired head coach surge.
Dead cat
And
bounce.
as we know, Auburn just fired. Yes, Auburn just fired their head coach. And I swear to you, every school that fires their head coach, the week after, all of a sudden this team is phenomenal, like out of nowhere, right? And so I'm not thinking that Auburn is going to go to Nashville and beat Vandy. But I do think it's going to be a harder game than people realize. And Auburn does have all the pieces to have a great defense. They have a lot of like players who have played a lot of time who are very good and they should be good. And so give me Auburn plus 6.5 over
Oh,
Vandy.
okay. That's fun. Listen, it's a good bet. Like taking the team that just fired their head coach. It's been working out. It's been working out for a lot.
Yeah.
All right. I've got two I've been eyeing on. Specifically because I've got two where one is favored by too much, one's not favored by enough. And they did me well last week. And so I'm gonna ride with them again. Hold on, let me find it. It's easier to find the Big 12 games than the non-Big 12 ones in the app. Hold on. Come on, VSiN, do me right. Do me right. Okay. Or just don't pop it up. Last time I saw Memphis was there they are. 3.5-point favorite. Great. They are at home against Tulane. Tulane is good, but everybody has Memphis by more. SP Plus is Memphis minus 13.3. TSU is Memphis minus 8.5. FEI is Memphis minus 8.3. Beta is Memphis minus 7.23. Parker's Memphis minus 4.6. Pear is Memphis minus 9.8. I start my week off with SP Plus every week and look for whatever the biggest difference on his boards are between what he picks and what the line is. And then I go through and track everyone else's on those games. And so usually I'll pick about 3, 4, 5 of those games and kind of track those out. Unless there's just a team I love, I'll base it off that. I considered Duke. I think they're too big of a favorite against UConn. I don't think they should be a 9-point favorite against UConn. Neither do any of the other projections. No one has them covering that. But I would rather ride with a Memphis team. I just think, I love Tulane. But I also have to wonder, is John Summerall focused right now on Memphis or on Tulane and Memphis? Or is he focused on, do I take LSU or do I take Florida or do I take Auburn or do I take whatever other SEC job is going to come offering itself to me? So I'm going to take Memphis at home against Tulane to cover a 3.5-point line because I just like Memphis this year, and no one's not that no one's gunning for Summerall or for Silverfield. Silverfield, yeah. I think this is a spot for Memphis. I think it's a big spot for them. I think they don't understand that the winner of the AAC's got the best shot, especially if they only have one loss, to go to the playoff. And Memphis is a real opportunity to do that this year. And if you're Silverfield and you want a P5 job or P4 job, that's a good way to make that happen. It's a good way to make that happen. Arkansas's got to hire somebody. So, why not a guy that beats you? So I'll take Memphis minus 3.5 versus Tulane. Chase's pick for this one, non-Big 12, quote, give me the play I wanted last week if it wasn't a Wednesday kickoff, which is the under in Missouri State's game. So Missouri State Liberty, he's got the under at 51.5. Let's see where it is right now. Can we give him that number? Can we give him a better number? Nope, 51.5. So under 51.5 in Missouri State Liberty for Chase. 51.5, and I'll just put Liberty here on my notes so I know which game to go look for. Perfect. All right. That wraps us up for this week. Savanah, you have been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us for our Picks Pod this week. You have been a wonderful co-host, especially solo co-host, since it's just me and you tonight. Do me a favor. You love teams from across college football's landscape. So where can everybody follow you and check out the stuff that you like to do when you talk college football?
Yeah, of course. I talk all the conferences. The conference I probably talk the least about is the Big Ten, but I talk the most about the ACC and the Big 12. Yes,
Woohoo!
yes, yes, of course. But I talk about the Big 12 like it says in my bio, Big 12 grad. So the Big 12 does mean a lot to me. You can find me on Twitter at Savanah, the number 2 and the letter J. You can also find me at TikTok on the same exact handle. You can also find me on the channel Total Coverage Sports on YouTube. I have a segment on Monday nights about ACC recap, but we also do a random pick, and it's usually a Big 12 school. And yeah, that's kind of where you can find me. I had so much fun. I love, like I said, talking about the conference that is the home of my alma mater. You have a special place in my heart always.
Savanah, you've been great. Everybody go give her a follow. I'm going to have to check out that show on Monday. Everybody enjoy the games this weekend. We'll be back on Monday to recap the weekend that was and everything that went down with it. Maybe talk a little bit of basketball. We'll see. So y'all enjoy the games. Be safe. Have fun. We'll talk to you then.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Here for the Lowe's early Black Friday deals? You're right on time for some of our biggest savings. We're talking up to 50% off select major appliances, plus up to an extra 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Holiday lights going up soon? Select ladders are up to 50% off right now. Get Black Friday prices without the Black Friday crowds. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 11/19. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.